If the gentleman from South Carolina, we're going to just flip. If we could, Mr. Grothman has to go. We'll go Mr. Grothman, then we'll come right to you, Mr. Fry. So Mr. Grothman is recognized.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, when the FBI asked the FISA court for a Title I warrant to surveil someone in a politically sensitive case, let's say a member of Congress, an employee of a presidential campaign, as actually happened to President Trump, this all takes place in a secret proceeding, right? Generally speaking, is there anyone in the proceeding advocating for privacy rights in the Constitution?
No, currently there is not, and that's a big problem. And I think that was a process which, if it had been in place during the Carter Page investigation, likely would have prevented the shenanigans that happened there. In fact, it could well have deterred the FBI and the Justice Department from even seeking that warrant at all.
Can you give us a suggestion what to do about it?
Yes, I think the best solution is to adopt something along the lines of the Lee-Leahy reform that was adopted by the Senate about 4 years ago by a vote of 77 to 20 or something like that. And what that reform would do is ensure that there is, in particularly sensitive investigations, that there is an amicus in the room. And as part of the process, when the FISC considers granting a warrant in those kinds of cases. And so it would be somebody who's trained in privacy, somebody who has a full security clearance and can serve as a check, a counterweight, if you will, to the Justice Department lawyers who, of course, will be seeking the warrant, but somebody who can be there and knows enough about the process to be able to help the FISC judges ask the right kinds of questions to be sure that there aren't any shenanigans going on.
Okay, you've spoken about the data broker loophole, where federal agencies ranging from FBI, the IRS, buy geolocation, internet search, and purchase history, and other sensitive information about Americans, all without a warrant or any reason to believe most of these people have done anything wrong. As we consider Section 702, a surveillance authority that has been repeatedly abused by the FBI, why is it important to also look at other government practices like data purchases that violate Americans' constitutional privacy rights?
Well, thank you for that question, and I think you're absolutely right that that purchasing data can be an effective way currently for agencies to do an end run about around the Fourth Amendment, and they shouldn't be allowed to do that. Whether or not they're allowed to purchase the data, they shouldn't be allowed to use it to surveil Americans without going through the same warrant process that we've been talking about with respect to the Section 702 database.
Are there any procedures in place now to protect against the malignant use of FISA?
From the malignant use of FISA?
Malignant use of FISA, yeah.
Well, there are some procedures in place, and some that were enacted by this body a couple of years ago that are useful and important. But there are a number of others that need to be added, like the warrant requirement for backdoor searches.
Are there any consequences for FBI agents that conduct improper searches?
I understand there are potentially some administrative consequences that they can lose their security clearances if they're found to have violated the department's own rules.
Have they ever been used?
Not that I know of.
Okay. How did the FBI allow such a profound breakdown in internal communication and verification processes that investigators failed to properly report Carter Page's status as an operational contact, information they already possessed, ultimately enabling an attorney to alter documentation and resulting in nearly a year of unlawful surveillance?
Well, the independent counsels who investigated that whole sordid history concluded that it was not just an innocent mistake.
Okay. Mr. Tolman, we'll try to give you a quick question at the end. There are reports indicating that some agencies are spending tens of millions of dollars on multi-year contracts to purchase sensitive data on American citizens. Can you elaborate what problems this poses?
Well, first and foremost, if the internal guidelines to help prevent abuse become effective, the FBI's response is to not to not stop wanting to get that information. Instead, they've pushed it out to purchasing that information, and it's the tip of the iceberg. If they expand that program, there's no end to what they can get without a warrant.
Okay, thank you very much.
Gentleman yields back. We have about 20 more minutes. If that's good, we'll just keep on moving. Oh, does someone need a break?
Ideally. 2 minutes.
I understand. We will take a, you can take a break. And if your questions are going to the gentlelady, we'll hold. If not, we'll let you, Mr. Fry, continue with the three remaining witnesses.
We'll move around. We got a lot of questions. So
All right, all right.